and towards Democrats. So we ought to have that vote. It's a wonderful thing for the country to pass the DREAM Act anyway. You hear you have these young kids who are doing really well in school who don't, who maybe were brought in by their parents at 2 years old. Those people, of course, would be a huge credit to the United States, and they ought to be able to stay and flourish as they already have. So it's a good policy, and it's also great politics. And I'd certainly bring up the DREAM Act in this environment.
Governor Dean, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks for having me on.
Let's bring in our company, Patrick Gavin, Dan Gernstein, and Princella Smith. Patrick, can the Democrats accomplish maybe as much as Howard Dean suggests they might be able to?
I don't know. It's certainly going to be an uphill battle. There is sort of this argument that is being perpetuated by Republicans, and I think that's felt by a lot of American people, that you lost the election, perhaps just hold off until January because the people expressed their view, and they seem to be opting, at least in the House of Representatives, for Republican leadership. But that being said, this is sort of a final opportunity for them to get through a lot of things, to pursue tax cuts, to take a closer look at Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and these are things that are very, very important to Barack Obama's base and the Democratic base generally. So it would be a missed opportunity perhaps if they didn't. But make no mistake about it, it's not going to be. Republicans are not just going to get walked over on this. They're going to make the argument that we won the election, the American people want our vision and not yours. So just stop this and wait till we take over in January.
Is that the message you think that the Democrats should take from this, Princella?
Well, look, I think the Republicans are listening to the American people, and they should, because if not, then 2012 will look as ugly for them as 2010 did for the Democrats. I think that
we hear that phrase a lot, but I have to say, when I look at the polls, I mean, the American people are split on a lot of key issues. Well, it's not like they said we're voting for the Republicans because of this issue. It was all about the economy.
See, that's exactly my point. And so what Republicans know that they have to do is listen to what the American people want. Look, the American people want the extension of the Bush tax cuts. They know that the START treaty is something that Harry Reid is trying to shove through because he didn't do his job while Congress was in session. In reference to Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the majority of the American people do not favor trying to repeal that law. So, again, the Republicans, what they're trying to do is listen to what the American people are saying. They're not screaming for partisanship. They're screaming for leadership.
The latest polls I saw showed the majority of the American people have no problem with gays in the military. And if what we believe has been leaked out of this report is right, about 70% of military and their families are okay.
But this shouldn't be turned. What this has turned into is activism, and this is where Mr. Dean, unfortunately, I think he's incorrect. He's trying to turn this into, well, how many more people can we get to the polls so that President Obama looks like he favors gays? That's not what this should be about.
Dan, are the Democrats going to get anything done here?
They have to get something done. But I think the biggest problem here is a lack of leadership. The American people, whatever the ideological extremes say, they're frustrated because they don't see leadership from Washington. They don't see leadership from the president. I think the president could help himself substantially if he led on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He's got to make the case to the American people who already do support it, clearly on a majority state, that this is the right thing to do for our military. He'll have the votes. He should go out and make the case for it, demand a vote in Congress, up or down, not part of another bill. The other thing he needs to do is strike a deal on the Bush tax cuts. If they don't get that done, that will look like typical dysfunctional Washington and politics as usual. He's got to lead and find a solution to that that will play to the middle class.
Dan, Princella, Patrick, great conversation. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't know if any of you are pet owners, but here's something dog owners will tell you they've known for a long time. Canines are smarter than cats. An Oxford University researcher says cats' brains are smaller because they're less social. The study found mammals that live in groups tend to have relatively bigger brains, while more solitary mammals, like cats, had brains that grew more slowly during the same period. And I let you debate it among yourselves. I'm just a messenger. This is not my study. Cat lovers out there.